I'm going to share with you how to make my Oma's German pancakes. This is something that she used to make for us when we were growing up, and actually when she comes up here she still makes it for us. So I had her make them in front of me and I wrote down the recipe as she went along. So here we go. The first thing that you're going to need are 7 eggs. There's 1, 2, 3. So far so good, no shells. I'm doing this one-handed. 4, 5, 6. Oh, couple shells. Couple of shells. And because about 350 degrees will kill anything, and I'm the only one eating these, well, the rest of my family is too. I'm not too worried about sticking my finger in there. And I did wash them beforehand. And there's number 7. And then what you need, I'm just going to quickly go wash my hands because now I have egg all over them, is a dash of salt. And you beat this really well. Or like my dad used to say, you beat it till it screams. So you want to get it, make sure that you got all of that beat up. And then you add 1 3/4 cups of flour. There's the first one. Or it's technically, like my Oma said, it was about 2 tablespoons for every egg. But then I measured that out because it didn't seem, it seemed like a lot of work to do 14 tablespoons. So I measured them out and it came to roughly 1 cup and 3/4 of flour. So you get that all mixed up. This is a lot harder doing this by one hand. So you've got an egg and a flour paste going on there. And then you're going to add milk to that. Over here and get my milk. And there's something that I've never figured out is quite the measurements on the milk. But what my Oma always did was she started off with a little bit and then worked her way up. And she worked the lumps out as she added the milk. And what you want to get is not too thick, but also not too thin. Kind of like a, you want it thinner than regular pancake batter. So that's still a little too thick. So it's better to start off with a little and then work your way up. And what you find is as you move your whisk through it, it's a little too thick still. Add a little bit more milk. You want it until it bubbles, till the milk bubbles. And you want it soupy. I don't know if you can see that the milk is starting to bubble up. And it's pretty soupy. And then what you do is you take this over to your skillet. And you want to make your skillet fairly hot. Get out a plate so that you have something to put these on when they come off the griddle or the skillet. So you want to heat that up. What I did was I put my my heater, just my stovetop, just a little under high heat. And then you take some oil and you put that into your pan. You're actually using quite a bit of this because you want to fry them, and you'll find that the oil will go for a couple of pancakes. and grab a ladle. So there's nothing in here to make it rise, but there's no baking soda or baking powder or anything like that like you would use with regular pancakes. But what ends up making it puff up is the eggs. I'm going to get your oil nice and hot until it's really thin. It's got to be really liquidy. And you can eat these with jam on them when you're done, or you can eat them with, we like to put, when we were kids, we sprinkled a little bit of sugar and some butter in there and then some syrup. But of course, as I've gotten older, it's just a little too sweet for me. So now I use just regular maple syrup. And what I did over here was I used real maple syrup, and as you can see, I burnt my pan a while ago. But I put real maple syrup, not the fake stuff, because the real stuff is so much better. I usually put that into a pot and I heat that up so that it's nice and warm, because there's nothing more disappointing than putting cold syrup and having it cool down your pancakes. So now that that's really liquidy and heated up, then what you do is you take your ladle, get a nice big scoop of this, and then you put that directly into the pan, and then you move this around, and then move your pan around like this so that you get the rest of your pancake batter to move around. And then you're going to let that sit for a little bit, and I'm going to come over here and grab my spatula, and it'll take a little while. As you can see, it's already starting to brown on the other side. But the reason that you want the batter pretty soupy is so that it doesn't become too spongy, too eggy, and it ends up breaking when you try to take it out of the griddle and, you know, turn it over. So my pancake is ready to be flipped. It doesn't take long. You can see it turns into a nice golden brown, and then it starts to puff up. That's one of my favorite parts there. And my syrup is pretty darn hot, so we're going to take that off. And it starts to, you know, to crack. And then you just keep an eye on the bottom side, and it looks like that one is done. This really didn't take long at all, and so what you do is you just take that, let some of that drip off, and then put that onto your plate, and there you go. And then what I like to do is I spread butter on it, and then I take a fork and then I roll it up into like a big log and then pour syrup on it and then cut it in slices and eat it. Enjoy!